What's up, everyone? This is the Duke London Podcast, episode 49. I'm here with Dylan. I always forget to ask people how to pronounce their names before I come here. I always say Mayoral.
It's however you want to pronounce it.
Just whatever you want,
because
really.
it's a Spanish surname, and the proper way is Mayoral. But I say Mayoral.
Mayoral.
But
Mayoral.
however you want to.
Okay, I like it.
However you want to call
So
it.
are you Spanish originally?
So we're gonna get into
Yeah.
straight away.
Just
Tell me about your family.
Yeah.
So my dad's side of the family, their blood is Spanish, but my dad was born and raised in Brazil. So his mom migrated to Brazil before he was born.
Okay.
And my mom's side is full Italian. So yeah.
Sick. So you were born where? Here?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I'm first generation London.
Ah,
What's this?
sick. Oh, that's cool. So do you speak
Yes, all of them.
all of them?
All of
Portuguese, Spanish,
Yeah.
Italian?
So in my household, my dad speaks Portuguese, my mom replies in Italian, and I reply in English.
Sick.
Obviously, I don't live with my family anymore.
Yeah.
But growing up, that was our life.
Sick. That's dope.
Yeah.
I love people that can speak more than one language around. I'm
Yeah.
trying to learn French and it's tough.
French is cool. French is
Yeah.
really nice.
Yeah,
I
I
like
love
the
it.
sound of French.
Same.
Yeah.
So anyway, how are you? How's things? How's life?
How am I? I'm really good.
Good.
I'm really good. How are you?
I'm all right, man. I'm
I'm going to
hustling.
interview you today.
Yeah.
You thought you were
Oh,
going to.
my.
Yeah.
No, that's good to hear, man. I know you've been like busy with a lot of different stuff, but and we'll get on to some of that soon. But yeah, man, like I don't think we've had a chance to like properly sit down and chat. Like we've seen each other around the scene and stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like it's the same with a lot of people, like on like varying scales. Like there's some people that I've done pods with where it's like I know them super well, and then there's like Tobias, who I never met before. Like when he walked through a door, I was like,
Swear.
never met him in real life.
Mad.
And then so it's like for that end of the spectrum, it was like I feel like you're not that we've never met, but we've never like had an in-depth conversation.
For sure.
So I just think it's a nice way to get to know people and stuff as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what, like obviously the NFT stuff is you've put that out there, so that's kind of part of what you're doing at the moment. But what's your? I know you have your training program. You're doing the NFT. You're obviously like teaching, still choreographing and dancing and stuff like that. So what's the kind of like how do you
and
split?
a million other things.
Yeah, like so how do you
Yeah.
split up your let's say like your professional life? What does it consist of, and what are the different areas that you're kind of balancing?
Well, for me, everything I do every day, I feel like has to have purpose and has to kind of another step forward towards a certain goal that I might have. And to be completely honest, of course I have many goals and dreams.
Yeah.
But I try, like I hyper focus one at a time. And
Okay.
right now what I'm working on is to get my own studio in London. And with that, I have to focus on the steps to get there.
Hear that?
And yeah. Yeah.
How much can you say about the studio plan? Some, none.
I can say, yeah.
Yeah, you can say so.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I don't want you to get
No,
spill the beans too
I
early.
can say.
What? So, okay, so where in this process are we from? Hey, wouldn't it be cool to have a studio? To doors are opening tomorrow. Like, where are we in that?
Yeah. The difference between before and now is, I think now is a good time for me. Last year I was living in New York for a bit to perform in an off-Broadway production called Beyond Babel, choreographed by Keone and Mari.
Sick.
And that was a huge goal of mine since I saw it in 2018.
Nice.
And I knew that initially in my head, I said to myself, I mean, having a dance studio has been a goal of mine for years,
Yeah.
but I said to myself that I'm not going to do that until I'm like ready to settle down in London. And I know that I don't have any strong interests or goals that will take me out of London, like beyond Babel.
Yeah, I hate that. Do you mind me asking how old you are?
How old do you think I am?
Oh, I would guess younger than me, but I don't know by how much. I would say maybe like 27.
Oh, cool. I'm 20. I just turned 25.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
All right, yeah.
And number two, did I say A or number one? I don't know. Number two.
Second thing in the
number
list,
two
yeah.
is like A. Number two. Wait, what? Number two, to have the financial means and to have a steady business plan, because the way I want to do things with my studio is going to require a little bit more financial support.
Yep.
Because with my personal mind, I want to prioritize giving back to the community and setting up something that I feel the community really, really needs.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like the way I want to do things is gonna, it's gonna take a little. I feel like it will take a little bit more financial backing, which I didn't have as much before, but now with things that have been happening this year, I feel like it's more possible. I'm still gonna work as hard, like I'm still gonna work super hard to do that, but
yeah, and I guess, like, I don't know, from my observations, I feel like one of the problems of like dance studios in London is always money, and it's like
it's hard.
Yeah, because it's like it's no secret that fucking property in London is hard to get, and it's expensive. So when people open a studio, even if it's run by dancers or whatever, any of, like, even we've got, like, let's say the main ones being like Pineapple, The Hub, 68 and Base, right? Those are we've obviously got other studios, but those are the main like training places.
That the majority of like is more connected to the street dance community, whereas the other ones like Pineapple. Did you say Pineapple?
I think it's about
yeah. And the other ones like Dance Works, and the other ones maybe they have more like ballroom or jazz and technical, maybe musical theatre and industry classes kind of thing.
And I think that the issue has been from the outside is like they have to prioritize business, right?
And
it's like this is also
fair enough.
Fair enough. Is life. Like it's not a knock at all, but when it's like, okay, with people are trying to put on classes or whatever, and then the prices go up, and then there's a different pricing scheme, and then there's rent goes up or whatever. It's like eventually you can't prioritize the community anymore. You have to and this is the thing, because if they don't do that, they shut down and nobody gets fucking classes or training. So it is a kind of catch-22 situation.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not easy, but so I get what you mean in the sense of like, all right, if you're going to do something more community based, you're going to have the finances in place to support that, so that not that your focus will be 0% on making money, but it can be less of a percent on the financial aspect rather than what you want to give back. Is there any details you can give on that? Yeah.
I mean, I'll make this, for me, it's very simple. Where I start, this is, I've been heavily ingrained in the scene for almost 10 years now, which is a good amount of time, not as long as, my teachers and some people that have come before me, but like, I genuinely like love this community so much. And I come from, where I come from, like Zoo Nation, Brit School, Definitives, and I have analyzed the issues that we have in this community, and I have traveled to over 39 different countries worldwide, and I've analyzed and asked the right questions to, kind of find the differences between what's missing in our community, what do other communities have, and how can we bring that to here. Because the issue with London is it's not just about the dance community. There's also, it's actually, you have to take into consideration the living situation of London as a city, and then the economics of the city, the social structure, like all of these things play a part in the dance ecosystem. It's all a part. So, I've, a few examples I can give. In Japan, they have 24-hour studios, and you can pay like 20 to 30 pound and that's 5 hours. And they rehearse 12 a.m., midnight to 5 a.m. And this is a common thing on a Friday night where you know, maybe people are partying in other countries or they're chilling. In Japan, they're training in like a 30 room studio. It's fully booked, you know, and that's one example. In Singapore, maybe I'm not correct in saying this, but I did hear this, that the government are actually invested in making dance more accessible for the community. They have, you know, actually spaces in their undergrounds, like they put mirrors and they have space so that the dance community can, you know, the dance community can dance. In California, you have the culture, you have the team's culture, and the culture also goes into universities, and they have teams and they have competitions and they have cultures. The culture stems from decades, and the studio spaces there are big and affordable, and everyone chips in, and it's possible, and people love it, and it works because people are available on these 2 days. They go to school or they work, and then they dedicate these 2 days or 3 days to their dance teams and blah, blah. So I've been looking around the world, and I've been like kind of picking and thinking. And I come back to London, and for me, I look at the issues of London, and the issues that I want to tackle are, I don't want us to train on the street anymore. I don't want us to have to find the next Trocadero or find the next Charing Cross or find the next wherever, South Bank. This isn't our future, I believe.
It's not really sustainable.
It's not sustainable. We're not going to keep finding the next South Bank and then getting kicked out. We need to be able to have more affordable studio space. And again, this also ties into how much we're earning as individuals, not just as dancers, but also as humans living in London, because high cost rent, but maybe not a lot of, maybe we don't earn a lot, you know? And I feel like the London community is so spread, like it's so, everyone knows each other, but everyone's kind of surviving, like doing their own thing. And so I feel like we really need to, I would love to bring us together, all different areas of the scene, and so much more. so much more. But for me, I don't just want to do a dance studio and say, okay, you teach these days and we good. I want to actually have a really strong structure, the same way that I do my dance camp. I don't just go, I want these teachers, you guys teach classes. I pick, okay, if this teacher teaches here and this teacher teaches next, that's going to work well because of the vibe, of the style, of what you're going to learn. And so much. So much.
That's dope. And I
foundation
think
classes. Beginner classes. Where do beginners go?
Like all the different.
Are we just gonna keep doing these studios where it's just professional dancers? They're good. They're great. You know. But how do beginners learn? It's really hard. I think. Like, isn't it really hard for beginners to get into what we do?
And to be honest, like I know a lot of people. I started at I don't know if you know a woman called Little J at Pineapple. That like I'm pretty sure like people like Mukta and stuff started in her class like way before me.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, she just teaches like a really basic like beginner class. But I think when I was getting into dance in London, I was like, right, what's the biggest studio, the most famous studio? Pineapple is the only one I've heard of.
Yeah.
And then I was like, right, what's the most beginner class? It's like one of the only classes that says beginner on it. So I went to that, and then through that I met some friends and changed classes and went to like some choreographers, and that's how I got into the scene. But like having a beginner's class that is like, because oftentimes like beginners classes are like, for want of a better word, shit. And like they're
hard.
Not a beginner's version of the real stuff. They're shit. And then through the shit, you learn, oh, this isn't quite the right stuff. The right guy is over there. Let me go train with him, or let me go train with her, or whatever. But it's not often, it's like someone legit teaching a beginner's class. That's what you go, you know what I mean?
For sure. And I think the best thing for a beginner, if you are a beginner watching this, listen, because this is the key. The best way to learn as a beginner is to join a team or a group of people that you consistently train with every week. And I would advise learning. This is hard. I would advise learning. You don't have to learn from one teacher every week, but I would advise finding a teacher and really grasping their style, or really training with them. And of course, foundations has to be in there, because an analogy I like to give is, when you were a kid, you don't just start learning how to write words. First, you repeat A many times, and then B many times, and then you start learning how to write words. And with choreography, it's the same. I look at it in the same way. I didn't just start learning choreography. I, very fortunately had very good training with great foundational teachers, with an incredible group of people that inspired me, and kept me my competitive edge. Very hungry every week.
I think like it all sounds dope, man. And like especially the what you were saying about the affordable training spaces, like I think on a kind of dance community level, like one of the best things that's happened to us studio wise has been Pirate Studios.
I saw that. It's really good. It's very
24
good.
hours.
Yeah.
There's no staff. You just go and put a code in.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
bro, they're dope.
Can I tell you something?
Please
listen to this. So I might actually make a proper video about this and tell Pure Gym. But you know Pure Gym?
Yeah.
So what if Pure Gym did pure dance, and it's literally Pure Gym, but they set squares for dancers. Like that's I would literally make a video and I would say, hey, Pure Gym, here's a multi-million dollar. Wow. Here's a multi-million pound idea. Yeah. Please take it, because I guarantee, even if it's something like 30, 40, even 50 pound, it is a lot. But for us, 50 pound for the month, and you get to train 24/7. That's massive for us.
Even some people I know are training, have gym memberships to use the dance studio. Yeah, exactly. To use the dance studio to train. There's a lot of like breakers that do it. Yeah, exactly. So it's like, if that was dedicated to, well, that's kind of what Pirate is. If Pirate had memberships like that, if they had more, because the thing is, at the moment they have only 2 dance studios in London. One's in Wembley, which is a bit far, and one's in Hackney, and that's the one everyone uses because it's right around the corner from Hackney Wick. But it's like, it gets booked up super quick. The good thing is the rates are pretty cheap. It's 24 hours. I sound like a fucking advert for them, but
no, it's good.
But for real, I kind of want to be an advert for them, because it's so simple, but it's what we fucking need. It's like,
that's it.
Don't worry about staff and this and that. And it's like, this is what I do with the podcast. When I'm not here, it's at Pirate. They have podcast studios. They have DJ studios. I know people go to. It's the same deal. You put in your code, you go in, you do your shit. If you're more than, I think, like 10 or 15 minutes past your get out time, they just switch off all the equipment. So it's like, all right,
automated.
Time to get out. And it's cheap and affordable because they don't have to pay staff. They don't really have to pay for much shit. If they had more, I feel like say they had a whole complex of studios, I think they'd.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. But I'll also tell you one thing for me that I realized in the past year and a half. So for me personally, I was living in New York, and I was performing in an off-Broadway production, and I have worked so hard in my life. I think even dancers don't really realize how hard I've worked. I think a lot of people think that I was born with something or, the word talent. I think I was born with a spark, but, most of it is just pure hard and smart work. And yet I went from performing in an off-Broadway production in New York with, in my opinion, the greatest choreographers of all time, to claiming benefits in London. Now, I know we had a pandemic, but the way I see it is, if you look at the top athlete in every other sport, football, boxing, basketball, every other sport, I wonder what they went through. Now, I believe in the dance world, I believe that I am very good. I believe that I am very good. I have trained very hard. And I realized then that this is crazy. We are so behind, and change has to happen. And change is going to happen because I know that this isn't the way. And I know that the style I do and street dance and what we do comes from culture, and it hasn't evolved into a sport the same way as boxing and football. But I know that that's our future. And breaking being in the Olympics is going to be, you know, a huge door to be open. But from that, and the struggle that I've been through the past year and a half, despite having the resume that I have, I was just like, okay, yeah, things really need to change. So my goal, like the legacy I want to leave, the contribution I want to do, I want to make to the dance community, worldwide dance community, is to make sure that when I leave this planet, this physical realm, that I've contributed to the journey of dancers becoming top artists and top athletes on the same level as the highest, you know, the highest form of art and sport, because I believe it is. And I think NFTs and blockchain technology and breaking in the Olympics and, you know, the many other things that others are pioneering too will help and contribute.
Yeah, for sure. I think there's a lot of things that need to go into that to make those changes happen, you know. Like, I think for me, one of the biggest, like, let's say like maybe the biggest two issues for me personally, and this is kind of why I do what I do, but is infrastructure within the dance world, right? Like, even like the capsule or something being like let's say in like a media organization, like how do we not have anyone reviewing shows from the community? We have the fucking Guardian or the Telegraph or whatever reviewing our shows. There's not one person from our community doing this stuff, right? Even the articles that are written about like BC1 and stuff, like now they have like some people who are from the community writing for them, but like before there wasn't, you know. So it's like infrastructure in that way of like people from the community building these things that represent our community. So when these organizations want to come in, they have someone to go to.
Yeah, it's very, that's absolutely true.
Because at the moment, it's a bit like Wild West. It's like,
exactly.
Oh, Nike want to make a dance shoe. They just have to figure out who they, you know what I mean?
There's
It's
no
like
infrastructure. Exactly.
If you want to do something with contemporary, you go to like a theater and you're like, okay, who's your people? Who do you know? You know what I mean? Like there's people that are like representative of their industry. But yeah. And the other thing I was gonna say is like, is what was it? Infrastructure. And I think one issue that I think we have for some reason, maybe more in the like grassrootsy or like underground culture, is like a lot of our stuff is for us as opposed to for an audience. And it's like, I always think of like singers doing a concert or something, and it's like, how often do people put on a concert for like other singers? Maybe like an album release party or something.
That's interesting.
But mostly it's like marketed to the public, and then because the public come, there's money. They want to spend their money on watching, and it's like, we're not like shit entertainers, we're dope. Like, so when it's like even stuff like Dancer's Delight or any of these battles that we put on, it's like, you know, this is what I think is crazy at how much Red Bull came in and just did a better job. Yeah. Because it's like they just prioritize the audience. You know what I mean? Like Dance Your Style and BC1 is like, it's for the audience. And like, so let's say with Dancer's Delight, like that event is supposed to be for dancers, right? That's not an event for other people. It's us showing each other what we've done and like, here's all the cool shit I've been working on. Oh, here's all the cool shit I've been working on. We cheer each other, we support each other, great. But like, cool, but we also like, where's the events that are like for the general public where we're generating money? And then, you know, like say, I don't know, like I'm trying to think of an example, but like,
sorry, I'm laughing because I'm working on something that is exactly this, but I can't talk about it yet.
That's fine. We got some secrets.
But
no,
soon,
that's good.
Like soon, like literally in the next week or two, I can
sick.
talk about this. But
yeah, keep posted to Dylan's Instagram. No, but this is the thing. Like, I think it just needs to be on a wider scale. That even like in the smallest underground events, it's like, it can be as little as like set up some fucking chairs. Like, it's like, I can't bring someone who's not from the dance scene here because 4 hours of this event are prelims. And for those 4 hours, you have to sit on the floor cross-legged like a fucking school assembly. And it's like, I can't invite any of my friends who aren't dancers to this thing because it's just a horrible experience if you don't love battling or whatever.
Exactly.
And if we just made some little tweaks here or there, we'd get more people in and therefore we'd get more money. And I think, for me, this is like two things that will help us to reach those levels. Like a boxing match is like marketed crazy. They have the whole shit. There's loads of people. They put it at Wembley. It's like that could be dance battles, or even more so like a dance showcase. Dance battles are a bit harder because unless it's breaking, it's very hard for an audience member to it takes a little bit more knowledge to understand what's happening. So it's a bit tough. But with a dance showcase, it's like stuff like World of Dance or HHI show that you can get big crowds. But it's like we need more stuff like that is like not run by huge organizations.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like we could be putting that money back into stuff or whatever. But
listen, it's I wish I could talk about it. We should have done this podcast.
Yeah. Next week. But we could just edit it in here.
The first thing I'm going to say is, in my opinion, we are so... I only realized this recently, how early we are. I feel like I'm able to zoom out and look at the bigger picture. I've always been able to look at big picture stuff. And think about this. We are so... early in this culture.
100%.
The founders are still alive.
Yeah, we're what, 50 years into the...
We're 50 years. So I imagine in the future, in the far future, when hopefully street dance culture is still here, and we're still doing what we do now, but just on a higher scale, we're gonna have people in the audience who just love our art form, but they don't do it the same way. Boxing fans, how many of the people who go to watch a boxing, by the way, I keep saying boxing because I've been boxing for 4 years now, and I love it, and I'm really into it, and I've learned a lot from it, and I've brought a lot of the philosophies and core values from boxing into my dance training. But the same way, how many of the people who are watching a boxing match in the venue, how many of them have actually done even a boxing lesson? I don't think many. And with dance, it's going to be the same. It's still very early, but we have to first know this now, that we have to have this in mind now, that this is the direction we want to go. Do we really want to continue to... This is me being completely honest. This is just my opinion. Do we really want to continue to host events where we're barely breaking even, the dancers compete for free, and they travel for free, and all this stuff? Now I understand it's because the ecosystem and the economy of the dance right now, it's there's no backing, there's no funding, which is why I'm gonna change everything. I swear. I promise.
Love this excitement.
Swear, everything we're saying right now, I know what I'm saying, what I'm about to say is so big, but I truly think that the next moves that I'm gonna make with NFTs, I truly think that it's going to bring it to exactly the level, or it's going to contribute to that.
Sick. That's so dope to hear, man.
We'll talk about it after.
Yeah. But also it's like, I think it's the funding and the backing, but it's also dancers being financially literate, being like understanding how to run events. Like this is a big thing for me. Like, people who run events don't know anything about running events a lot of times in the dance scene. And it's like, no wonder you're not breaking even. Like, and you're saying, oh, people don't support, whatever the bullshit excuses. But it's like, the event was too long. The event was not well catered. You didn't market it well. Like, putting up a fucking flyer on Instagram doesn't count. Like, that's not marketing, And it's like, there's a whole way to create a brand and do marketing. And this is stuff that I'm super interested in. And like, the stuff that I would read about is like marketing and understanding that. I studied events in uni, and it's like, and I don't run events because I'm waiting for the right time to run events when I know I want to do it. Yeah, I'm not just going to throw on, I've done events before, but it's not just like, oh yeah, cool. Well, we, paid everyone 100 quid to judge and whatever. And it's therefore tough, it's fine,
It's tough, innit?
It's like, that's fine if you're like young. Like, we did that when we were like 18 and we were like, oh, can you judge for us and do me a favor? Like, cool. But like, once you're grown up and you're running proper events, it's like, you have to learn what you're doing if you want to elevate any part of this, whether it's the events, whether it's the dancers, whether it's the audience facing aspects. If you want to elevate anything beyond just having a kind of shitty jam for us, and like, fine if that's the case, but we need You know what I mean? Like the next thing. And I feel like the choreography world has more of that, you know, like even with your training program, or like even like HDI and these sort of things.
The
like,
choreo world, I think we have a lot of dance camps, and I think we have more funding than the underground, like the street dance.
But it just seems
world.
like better event organization also. Like being at HDI, like what Josh does with the whole thing, and like the way it is and the people he gets over, and like, yes, there's funding, but he's also charging those people, and that's part of what's paying for it, right? So it's like, and it's not necessarily cheap, these things, like, but people pay because it's the experience they're getting is worth it. And I know it's a whole different format, like classes and stuff is completely different, but just the way it's run looks a bit more like, let's say, user friendly.
But when we're talking about underground events, we have to kind of think which ones we're talking about, because I've seen some underground events that are like amazing. You know, there's some in Asia that will blow your mind.
Yeah, I'm more talking UK.
Right.
Yeah.
With the UK, I mean, I'm not as connected as I want to be in the underground scene here when in terms of events, because every time there's a good event I want to go to, I'm away. And I'm sorry, but I'm building for us, I swear. I'm joking. But yeah, I understand. And again, it goes back into the issues I was talking about before. You know, the ecosystem, the economy, and also the event organization.
But also, I guess with money, the people who don't know how to run events won't be around anymore. You know what I mean? Because I think now the problem is like kind of anyone can just throw an event and people will go because it's whatever.
Because there's no, like, you know.
We have, you know, good events like Dance Your Style or BC1 or UK B-Boy Champs or these type of like bigger events or Just Taboo or whatever, like happen like once a year. If they happen like every month, there'd be a lot less space for people to just throw anything. And yes, you need the like smaller community jams, but there needs to be a difference. Like these are the real shits. These are the fun little community. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, I think there's a whole load of different things that all go into. I don't, in essence, have a problem with these type of events. It's just like we as a community are never going to grow anything bigger.
Yeah, it's a stepping stone to something much bigger. Can I tell you something? I'll probably, I mean, whatever. But one of my goals, like this is I have a few things that I need to execute before, which these things are already, each one is like mad. But one of them is I want to create, should I say this?
If the next bit is bleeped, you know why.
I want to create a UFC for dance.
That's a good idea.
But the difference here, essentially, I want to create a dance battle, but the difference is that the competitors get paid to train, get paid to compete.
Sick.
And regardless of if they win or lose, they get paid. And if they win, they get a bonus. And there's going to be belts. Who's going to have the hip hop belt? Who's going to, you know, that's what's going to get people interested.
And like, you know what? I have to shout out to, do you know Clint from Rain Crew?
Yes.
Clint did a thing called, I think he called it Boiled Heads. I don't know why. But basically the idea was something similar, not quite the UFC idea.
Can you imagine?
Yeah,
he did this event like before, and I'm saying no.
No, but it's like his thing was like the battles don't have the element of like story that UFC or boxing has. It's like, why does this battle matter? This person lost their last 4 battles, but this person's on fire. These two have a grudge match or whatever, and it's like the whole idea of
never lost.
and the whole idea of this thing creates like a need to watch and like a reason for us to be there. And I think it's similar kind of thing where it's like, I think it's just a thing of like, okay, we show up, some people win, some people lose, and we all go home. It doesn't really matter. It's the same shit every time. And it's like, if it was more of a thing made of each battle or event, I think it would be maybe more
it matters to us.
Yeah.
But beyond that,
but even barely. Like, so like even sometimes battles that I'm in don't matter, because I'm like, all right, I lost, there's another battle next week. Oh, I won, it doesn't matter, there's another battle next week. Like there's no like,
I feel you.
And you know, sometimes you get those grudge matches. Like when there was less people in the scene, I used to have that with Kieran Warner, and because obviously with less people, you battle each other more often.
Yeah.
So we would have more grudge matches. That's actually how we became friends. Is like we used to hate each other and be rivals and just be like, oh, I'm gonna fucking beat that guy. And he had like, we had very opposing ideologies in terms of what hip hop should be and how it should be done, which made it more exciting because we were like trying to prove something to each other and to everyone watching, like, no, my way is the best way of doing hip hop or whatever. So I think it's like now, and this is kind of also part of the problem with a whole nother tangent, but where we're not training in crews as much and everyone kind of just trains wherever, you don't have as much rivalry and you don't have much, you have some, but you don't have much like differentiation in the way people think about the styles. So which I think we get more like cross country. So like the way we think about popping is different to how France thinks about popping.
Yeah, for sure.
So therefore when we get France versus UK, it's cool because it's not only like we're representing our country, but we're also representing what that means to us. But we don't really get that within the UK. We don't really get like oh, I'm gonna, which I think we used to a bit more, but it's like, okay, Brooke is gonna battle Harry, and it's like, okay, cool, like they're both dope and they both kind of like, not that they think about popping in the same way, but it's like we both agree that we all agree that they're both good and they agree that each other is good.
Right.
You know, so there's no like anything to prove really besides their own personal, like, I want to beat you. But whereas I think before it used to be like, no, my crew thinks this and we train in this way and we want to beat you to, you know, like, and I think this is what comes into like the storytelling. Like if you know what it means for that person to win or whatever, you get a bit more wrapped up in it, and I think it's more fun as a spectator to care about the battles rather than just like, we're good friends, so it doesn't matter who wins. It's like, you kind of want a bit of rivalry, a bit of like something competitive. It doesn't have to be that you hate each other, but
one thing that sparked my mind while you were talking, I can't believe I forgot to say this before because it's one of the biggest things that I want to do with my studio is, you know, just have more jams. It's funny because like in my first few years of intense training, I was more in the choreo scene, and I was more, you know, a typical choreo dancer, like, I don't know about freestyle here, which is like mad. But, you know, it would be awesome to have a weekly session where poppers, hip hop dancers, lockers, if there's enough, breakers, they have a place. And that's what I would love to provide, you know. And I'm saying I would love to provide because that's my goal. If we can do it in a way that it's sustainable, and, you know, B, I'm able to actually offer that gap. Because correct me if I'm wrong, for a crew or for poppers or for hip hop dancers to train, where can we train? Like where? Like individually, right? You have to hire a studio or go to really dance on the concrete floor outside.
The Hub just opened. The Hub just opened a weekly jam, which is after the 16th Fleur class. I don't know if you're supposed to say it Fleur. But they've got that, and it's only an hour and a half, so it's something. I think like but my issue, because people say, you know, you can train outside and there's these spaces and blah blah. Training outside is not safe and it's not sustainable. Safety in terms of like, you can't bring anyone who's young to these outdoor places because you don't know who's around. Like realistically and morally, we shouldn't really be having younger dancers train outdoors in some back alley. Like if we want to do it as adults, that's one thing, but you don't know who's going to come, what's going to happen. It's very like out in the wild, right? You've also got the issue of personal safety. So if you're cold, no athletes would train, you know, unless your sport is done outside, it's not great to train outside because you can get injured, right? And it's like, yes, let's say there are a lot of basketball courts are outside and people play ball outside all the time. But I guarantee you that NBA players are not doing these outdoor runs in the winter when they can get injured over something dumb because they're cold and it's hard concrete and there's no, like, it's not a smart idea for high level dancers to be training outside, but we don't have any other option. Literally. So it's like, yes, they need to because you got to train. And that's dope that people are finding a way to make it happen. But realistically, in this day and age, if you're a high level competitive dancer or just a high level performer, it's not the smartest thing to be trained outside. I don't like it, and I don't think, I think we need somewhere better.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing with that, which I think is really important, is like a lot of like all the way from like the actual battle styles all the way up to like choreo and stuff, which is, I would say, and I haven't had this conversation yet, but tell me if you want to weigh in on it. But like,
careful to offend the choreographers. I'm joking.
No.
Yeah,
but like,
I'm kidding.
Fuck you. No, I'm joking. No, but like the choreography as it stands, right? In terms of like it coming, let's say like not commercial, but like this idea of like choreographing came maybe through the route of like performance and music videos and stuff, right? That's where it maybe became popularized. And I would, again, like,
I think maybe even before, like with styles like jazz and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I think
from the performance
but like,
world.
let's say the element that it is, or the way that it is now, I feel like, because if you look back at like Michael Jackson videos and stuff, they weren't hip hop dancers, they were jazz dancers.
Yeah,
and they're doing
I was watching
jazz.
Smooth Criminal, and
Yeah,
I was like,
it's jazz.
Yo, this is so sick. Like oh my gosh, I was like, this is timeless.
Yeah,
like, it's so.
And same with even some of the Janet Jackson and the videos that like created some of the hip hop styles. Like the dancers are not hip hop dancers because the style was not there yet. But anyway, my point is like, I feel like it's this jazz kind of framework with hip hop influences, right? So these jazz dancers or whatever have at some point, looked at like the hip hop stuff coming up, and it's like, obviously we can't do breaking in its original form on stage. It doesn't work. You can't really do it like that, like blah blah blah.
You mean like the commercial industry?
Yeah,
right.
So then they've like taken these kind of influences, melded it together, and now now it's almost worked backwards in the way that it's gone from commercial down to like, we have these like choreographers who like, the art is actually dope, but it's like this mix of like classical technical styles and like a lot of hip hop influences and movements, right, in this more straightforward studio front facing kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I think let's say from commercial, the choreographers who are like more artistically driven and not so commercially driven, yeah, exactly, the people I see like you and a lot of like your peers,
yeah,
all the way down through the battle styles, right? This is a long walk to get to like a short point, but like all of these things are influenced by the things that happen culturally at the grassroots.
Absolutely.
So these styles were born in parties, in jams, and blah, blah.
Yes.
Whether we want to battle with them at BC1 or take them on tour with Janet Jackson, this is where they started.
Yes.
And what happens is, I think, which is a shame, and it's partly our fault as well, but it's like the attention is being given on like, we need more battles, we need more choreo classes, we need blah, blah. And it's like, cool, fine, but you're not giving attention to the place where the things were born from. And that's almost dead in a way. Like when I first started, we had like Arc Bar and Angel, which was like the weekly like funk jam. And it was like every Friday night, I think it was every Friday night, but it was like funk music. So all the like poppers and lockers would go there, sometimes the whackers as well. And like they went more and more. And it was like a community, like fun jam. You could have a drink, you could chill out, and it was like a thing, right? And it's like there was no battles really, and like, but that's where stuff happened. There were call out battles. There were, and people trained and people had fun. But it's like that's the place where a lot of good poppers were born from or trained from. You know what I mean? And like a lot of crews were kind of formed. A lot of things happened in that community, and then we take it to the battles and battle each other, or we take it to the choreo and do the choreo, whatever it was. But I think it's just weird when we're like taking so much from these grassroots communities, and it's like, for me, it's like all of these dance organizations that we have, and I'm like, I said this on Instagram recently, but I'm like, does no one have 3 hours a week space? Can no one come up with 3 hours studio space a week that's just open for people to come? Like, even if we have to sign up, have a membership,
right?
like pay a monthly fee, whatever it is, but like, there's all these dance studios, there's all these dance organizations that work in theaters.
They don't care. That's what, sorry,
yeah,
but
it's what it feels
true.
like.
But think about it. Why would they give back to, see, this is what I'm saying. Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, I've been observing, and I don't need to say names or call out studios.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, I've seen what they prioritize, and I'm not judging it, but it's evident to me that, as we were saying before, they prioritize business over culture and art, and they don't, simply put, they don't come from our community. They're not connected from, and by our, I mean everything we've spoken about right now. Even though we haven't spoken a lot, I feel like we're connected to
it's all the
to
same
one
community,
thing that
for
we
sure.
care a lot about. And we understand where it comes from, and we love it, and we understand why it's important. They don't care because they were not cut from the same cloth. And maybe they have other goals, and their focus is elsewhere, which is fine. But it goes back to what I was saying at the very beginning. It's going to take, it's going to take money, and it's going to take time and effort. And it's going to take you to actually care and want to give back and support the scene. Now, when I say support, my definition of support is to give without expecting something back.
That's a pretty good definition.
Is to support. And that's what we need. We need someone, well, in my opinion, in the London scene, we need someone who's willing to give an arm and say, keep it. That's bars. I'm going to keep that.
I like that.
And I'm willing to give everything. Because I'm very I feel very blessed in my life I feel like I've done I've done amazing things in my life. And not to say that I don't have any more goals. I do, but my goals are focused on giving back and uplifting everyone else. I don't know, man. I never would have imagined to achieve the things that I have. And saying that, I also want to say that I feel like I've only done 1% of what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, sure.
And I think that says something. But I was just, I got into the Brit school, and I found ballet. So here's my story, just really short.
Go.
So I started in musical theater when I was musical theater and gymnastics when I was 7 years old. Did it as a hobby. My parents just put me and my siblings in musical theater and gymnastics to keep me out of trouble because of the area I grew up in and the schools I went to, etc. And then when I was 15, I did musical theater for 7-8 years, loved it, but it was more of a hobby. And when I was 15, got into Brit school, started to do ballet, jazz, contemporary tap, fell in love with dance and training. Then I met some people this is actually funny. I met this guy called Brandon at the Brit school, and he had trained a few times with Brooke, and he was showing me like waving, popping, locking. And I had seen those styles before, but never someone like my age. Because and I was blown away. I was like, yo, I'm so bad, because I couldn't do that. All I could do was like this, and then I could flip. That's it. So then I was like, literally the next week, signed up for Zoo Nation, and a couple months into Zoo Nation, I applied for Zoo Nation Youth, and I got in as a reserve the first time, and then I basically went beast mode and fell absolutely in love. That's when I met Boy Band and met the community and met Glenn and went to Glenn's class every week like it was church, like Definitives was my religion. And then and I just loved it, and I loved it not because I wanted to achieve something, or not because I wanted to get a particular job or travel the world or do something. I loved it because I was just so in the moment and focused on the journey, and my mind was just, I just want to train. I just want to take all these classes. I just want to absorb as much information as possible. And I did. And I continue to do so. I feel like I still have that beginner mentality. I still have that hunger, that want to continue to grow and push the boundaries. I
think that's dope, man. I think that's really dope. So I was going to ask you at some point sooner or later, but do you want to break down for me and for anyone listening who
here is the start of the video,
who may not know anything about NFTs, right? So, okay, first of all, Dylan, for everyone listening and watching, Dylan has just put out 4 videos Or
It's one video cut into 4 parts.
How
for
long is
Instagram.
each one?
So I would recommend just going to my YouTube channel because there's the full video there. It's
Cool.
like 45 minutes.
Okay, cool. So there's a 45-minute video on Dylan's YouTube. Check that out. But to give you a little taster, because I think the thing is, I don't know if everyone else is like me, but it's like with some of this stuff, people talk about it. It's like, yeah, get into it. And it's like, I don't even know the first thing about it. So I don't have the like will to watch like a 45-minute video about it until I I only started watching loads of stuff about cameras when I first bought my camera.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like I did my research on which one, bought it, and then I'm like, right, now I've got this thing. Let me learn how cameras work, how light works. Like I got really into it because I started, but at some point someone just gave me, actually it was Jay, do you know Jay Cassettes? He's a photographer in the dance scene, but he like was one of the first people that like was like, oh, try like showed me how to use a camera or whatever, and I was like, oh cool, this does that. And it just as a like, I had no interest in it, but I was just like, oh, that looks cool, thanks. And then I was like, oh, I know what it feels like to hold a camera now. And then it you know, worked more into it. But yeah, so give us the little taster of like, first of all, like what is an NFT and why should we care about it? Because I think one of the things that a lot of people feel is like, and I guess I've watched some bits on NFTs and Bitcoin and stuff like that, and it's like this idea that, you know, when people don't have a lot of money, we don't tend to invest, whereas we should invest more because we're losing money by keeping it in cash or whatever, and all this sort of thing. Whereas like I guess it's the like never-ending circle of like when you get to a certain level of wealth, you understand how to make your money do more. So yeah, give us a little breakdown of what an NFT is and why do we care?
Okay, I'm going to try and make this like as simple as possible.
Yeah,
I'm going to try and make this as short as possible.
NFTs for dummies.
So I can't explain NFT without explaining blockchain technology first. And I'm just going to explain a little bit about Bitcoin because that's the first cryptocurrency.
Cool.
So first, Bitcoin is a digital currency, cryptocurrency, that is decentralized, and the creator is anonymous. We still don't know who created it. Now, can you imagine? So with Bitcoin, so you're not going to understand a lot of the things I'm saying. I don't think it's going to be confusing, but just roll with it. With Bitcoin, nobody owns or controls it, and it's a financial currency it's a digital currency that uses a technology called blockchain technology. And once something is on the blockchain, which is essentially a database of transactions and, transactions, no one has the power to edit or remove something that is put on the blockchain because no one has access or controls it. And it's physically impossible. The technology doesn't allow it. Now, when you compare that to a bank, people can, NatWest owns NatWest, and yeah. So
just quickly, I know some of this, so I'm I'm partially asking questions that I know the answer to just to get the information. Good. Some of it I actually don't know. Okay. So blockchain, you said it's like a record of transactions, right?
It's a technology, yeah. Yeah. And the blockchain is what's called a distributed ledger, which is an open database that anyone can access.
Right. And is that like a physical thing anywhere? Because you're saying like nobody can access it, or anyone can access, but no one can change it. So is it like, where is it?
Yeah. By me saying anyone can access it, it's imagine a server.
Yeah.
And anyone can have a copy of the server and view the copy of the server, but no one has the power to edit or change or remove any transaction.
Cool.
So if I send you one Bitcoin and the transaction completes, that transaction goes on the blockchain forever and nobody can change it.
So Bitcoin is the currency. Blockchain is basically the record of these currencies.
Yeah, blockchain is the technology. Yeah.
Sorry,
and the ledger. Yeah. The
so it's the technology that allows Bitcoin to happen, and also with that, it's the ledger of all the transactions that have happened, like all over the world. Everything that's ever happened with Bitcoin is on this one ledger.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
Continue.
Now, another cryptocurrency came along called Ethereum, where they introduced something called smart contracts, decentralized apps. and NFTs.
Okay.
Now, I explained this in my video, but let me just get into NFTs. NFT stands for non-fungible token, which non-fungible means it's not interchangeable, it's unique. Something fungible would be a £10 note. I can split it into two £5 notes and it's the same thing. Non-fungible is you cannot break it down.
Nothing else has the same value as this thing itself.
It's like the chair.
Yeah.
You can't really break down the chair.
Got ya.
Like the chair is the chair. That's not a good one, but kind of.
Okay.
And what NFTs allow us to do, and what Ethereum has allowed us to do, is to store digital files, photos, videos, anything digital on the blockchain. Now, as I just said, once something is on the blockchain, it's decentralized and immutable. No one has the power to edit or remove it. And so we have the technology to put a digital file on the blockchain. And because of that, we can prove its authenticity, its scarcity, and who owns it. So what I've been doing this year is I've got a dance video, I've put it on the blockchain, and me putting it on the blockchain is equivalent to me painting something on a piece of canvas and saying this is my art, but digitally.
Yeah.
Like game changer.
Okay,
truly.
so you take this dance video and put it on the blockchain. Therefore, there's a record that it's been put on the blockchain, and you are the first person recorded putting that thing on the blockchain.
Yes.
And therefore, if you sell that to someone, there's a record of you having sold it.
Yes, and every time when I what's called mint, when I mint something on the blockchain, which is the process of putting something on the blockchain. When I mint this dance video on the blockchain, there's a transaction code, and there's like also a contract. There's an address of that NFT of that video, and that proves that dance NFT is the one digitally. Yeah. Now, it's not the same as saving the video, because anyone can save the video and you cannot prove where is the genesis, where is the one, digitally. But now we have a secure way, because it's decentralized and immutable. No one controls the blockchain. No one owns it. For the first time ever, this is insane. We can prove that digital files, I can prove that this one digital file is the first one, is the authentic one. Even more, like on a level up from, let's take two Gucci bags. Yeah. One is real, one is fake. How could you know? It's really hard. In fact, a Gucci bag NFT sold more for a real life Gucci bag. So that should tell you a little bit. Yeah. But yes, I've been selling dance NFTs this year.
So I have a couple of questions. So first one is would you say it's kind of like on my desktop when I have, let's say I do a photography job, I have pictures, I have the the name of the thing, right? If I copy that file on, let's say on my desktop, it will say like the original file, and then it will say copy blah blah blah, like it will say that it's a copy. So I can tell by the, let's say by the file name, which one is the original and which one is the copy. So this is like a concrete version of that.
But even the original, you have to think like even the original is a digital file that can be copied, replicated multiple times, and then the copy is the same as the original. Think about it, right? It's the same. It's just the wording is different. But with NFTs, that's what I'm saying.
It's there
can never be another one. Like my dance video, there can never be another one.
So
another dance NFT of that dance video.
My second question is like, is it not it's not the which one is the original, it's which one was put on the blockchain first. So let's say you take your dance video, put it on YouTube or whatever, like it's just a normal dance video of yours. I download it and put it on the blockchain, and then you can't because my one's already there.
No, but you cannot do that because now this is a gray area because of how early we are with NFTs. But when uploading an NFT to a platform, it says, like on this platform that I use, it says, by ticking this box, you acknowledge that you own all the rights, like et cetera, et cetera. And we're in very early stages, and there has happened, I've seen, scams, but there are ways you can prove which one is the real one, even if someone does do that. So for example, let me give you an example. let's say I post a dance NFT and I share on my social media, this is the one,
Yeah.
right? That one has a contract address, what's called a contract address. There's an address. And that's on my profile, Dylan Mayoral. My username is Dylan Mayoral. This is my profile. So now comes another profile that says Dylan Mayoral 1, and they upload the exact same dance NFT.
Yeah.
But that dance NFT is going to have a different contract address because every NFT is unique.
Got ya. Okay.
I know it's the same video, but
it's just, what if somebody got there before you? So that would be more that like them trying to scam
but it's
you.
my video. Like, they don't have the rights or permission to mint that. They shouldn't, of course.
Yeah.
If they get a hold of my video, then I can't. But then, you know, my collectors in the space would kind of be able to figure out, hey, is this yours? This is, you know.
Yeah. And then what, is there something that can be done or not? Like if somebody scams you like that, it's like.
Yeah, this is the gray area.
Right.
There are a lot of technical aspects that I can explain to further explain what I'm saying, but that would, we would have to get into some deep stuff, which would take some
blockchain police.
Which would take some time. But this is
So also the other thing I've heard it, well, compared to, but also it's very, very much the same thing, I think, is like when you're buying art in real life, let's say you're buying a painting, it's like a Van Gogh or whatever. There's a
yes, I buy Van Gogh all the time.
Yeah, of course. Me too. But like there's a I forget the name of it. I feel like it's something in French. But it's a list of the history of the painting. So you can check if it's real because it comes with, I'm going to look up the name in a minute, but like, it's basically, you buy the Van Gogh and you say, okay, can I have the blah, 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 whatever we call this thing. And it literally says in 1852 or whatever, I don't know. Like,
is this a piece of paper?
It's I'm not sure how they do it, but it's like, it's the certificate of authenticity. It was sold to this family. Then from there, it was sold to this family, to this family, to this family. And then now it was sold to Dylan. And this is what makes this
the original,
because we have this history of where it's gone. If we don't have that, this could be anyone's.
Yeah.
So I've heard it compared to that sort of thing with art, where it's like, this is like a history of
you have that
where the thing has been, so that you can know that, like, if it got sold 20 times and I end up with it in 20 years, I still know that mine's the original because I have the history all the way from the creator.
But see, with that, you can still very easily forge, you know, physical papers.
Yeah.
And even if you do it digitally, centralize, like if I create a website where I do a certificate of authenticity, someone can hack into that website and change things because the technology allows it to. But with blockchain technology, it's impossible. No one can change it because if I want to change, this is what I mean. If I want to edit my dance NFT, if I want to change the history of it, I would have to mess with the Ethereum network.
Right.
And the Ethereum network, I would have to tamper with every node in the world at the same time. And in order for that to happen, you'd need something more advanced. You need something on the level or more advanced of something called quantum computing, which doesn't exist yet.
Right.
And so the technology, it doesn't allow it.
Impossible to break.
And blockchain technology has been around since 2009, I believe, or 11. Bitcoin has been around since 2009. Was it 2009 or 11? One of those. My memory is bad. And no one has hacked the blockchain.
Yeah.
Bitcoin's market cap is close to, I can't remember what it is. It's probably in the marks of 500 billion to $1 trillion.
Okay.
I'm saying the Bitcoin market cap.
Right.
Like that is one of the most valuable assets in the world. Don't you think every top hacker in the world is trying to hack into the blockchain network right now to acquire?
Like it's a very valuable thing to hack into if you could.
500 billion to 1 trillion, you'd be the richest person in the world by far. So yeah, it's pretty
cool. So
fascinating.
it's like it's in the art sense, it's like a non-hackable history of the thing, which proves it's like authenticity. I was you know what's funny is like
there's so much more to it, but
of course, I'm definitely boiling this down to like its very simplest things, and definitely go and watch Dylan's videos and research more if you want to know the real shit. But you know, it's like do you remember the art thing where it was like a banana taped to a wall?
Yeah, and he ate it.
Yeah. So when that was sold, right? They didn't it was sold to a gallery by the artist. They didn't sell the actual tape or the actual banana.
No, come on, that's ridiculous.
Like like he said, that's not the like when you buy the thing, basically what they sell is, and this I'll show you how it like for me it
They
relates.
sell the illusion.
But they sell literally the certificate of authenticity. So if I was to put up a banana with a tape on it in here, right, and I'd be like, oh, this is the one. It's like he could be like, no, it's not the one. Like it's not. So then with the gallery that he sold it to, they can say, oh, this is the one, and here's why. Here's the certificate of authenticity that we have basically purchased from the guy. It's like a permission to display this work, right? You can say whatever you want about the work being bullshit or whatever, but it's like, the point is, it's not actually the materials that are valuable, it's the certificate of authenticity. And it's kind of, I feel like, has a parallel with these things where it's not the video itself, because it is the video itself, but it's like, it's not what you see, because it's like, I could screen record the video that you put up and post it on my Instagram. I could send it to my friend. They could also post it on their Instagram, but you're the one that has this, let's say, digital certificate of authenticity.
It's a digital signature. You're
which
right.
That's
exactly.
what's worth, and that's what we want to pay for.
Not quite, because it is the video that you own. Like so to explain, when you buy an NFT, it goes to your crypto wallet, and no one has access to your crypto wallet.
Okay.
No one, only you. To better explain this, when you put money in your bank, you might think it's your bank account, but it's not. You put money and the bank owns your money. Yeah. And at any given time, the bank can freeze, take out your money, do whatever they want. Yeah. They have the power to do that. Yeah. But with your crypto wallet, you have complete control over your assets, over your cryptocurrency and your NFTs. Right. So, I own a few NFTs and it's mine. And I can prove that it's mine because in that NFT, it says owned by, and then it's my crypto address, and no one can touch that.
Okay.
No one. So.
And just, again, getting the dumb questions out the way.
Oh, no, none of this is dumb, trust me.
If you buy an NFT, which is a picture. Yeah. Can you look at the picture?
Yeah, of course.
Can you go into can I go into my crypto wallet or whatever and just watch your video?
Yeah.
Okay.
So with cryptocurrency and NFTs, what's very, very fascinating, this might blow your mind, is anyone can look into your crypto wallet. Okay. And see how much cryptocurrency you have and what NFTs you have. Yeah. If they have your address, they can look inside. But why that's not scary is because you don't have to tie your real identity to your crypto address. Okay. Which is the game changer, because if you want to do anything in this world right now, you have to have your real identity, which I understand. I don't think it's a bad thing, but the fact that we can have anonymity, is that right? Yeah. Anonymity, and we can sign up to something online and not have our real identity tied to it. I think it's amazing. And with cryptocurrency, it's like that. You get your crypto wallet, it's a string of letters and numbers, and you're anonymous.
So, okay. Because I guess my question on that is I guess it's mainly like a money-making thing, right? Because it's like, for me, I'm like, well, why do I want to buy something that anyone can watch that is all over the internet? Do you know what I mean?
Let me ask you something. If you're into Jordans, why would you buy Jordans? Okay, let's say you're a part of a community and collective that really like Jordans and collecting Jordans. Why would you buy Jordans?
I guess it's like a identity thing. You're showing that you're part of that community in a way.
That's one thing.
And because, you might like the way it feels when you wear them. It's comfortable. You like how it looks on you.
That's another. So with NFTs, it's so early, but there's so many different reasons for buying different NFTs. One of them, let's talk about the art. There exist in the world art collectors, right? Yeah, sure. People that maybe travel around the world, collect art and have it in their galleries or their houses, right? With digital art, it's the same. But in the real life, if you buy an art and you put it in your house, your audience and your market that you want to show it off to is anyone walking into your house, or you could video it and show your followers and that. But with digital art, with NFTs, your market and your audience is the internet. It's Web3. It's the metaverse. And so it's, a grander...
It's kind of like having a digital gallery, kind of like Instagram almost. But it's if your Instagram wasn't your pictures, it's all the stuff that you've paid for and bought and that you own.
Yeah, so there's that. Number two, some of these NFTs provide utility. So for example, I'm a huge gamer and I've been a huge gamer all my life, and I play games that have NFTs within the games.
Okay.
And so I'm playing these games and maybe I might acquire a sword that's an NFT, but now I own that sword. I can resell it to someone else. You know, it's mine. I literally own it. Proof of ownership.
Right.
So there's utility. There's I spoke about the utility. There's, you know, community and being a part of something, and the you know, because me personally, I mean, I don't know, like I'm not really into buying shoes. I have a lot of friends who collect, like who have more than 10 shoes.
Yeah.
I'm good with like
definitely spend way more than I should.
I'm good with 3 or 4.
Yeah.
But there are people who are passionate about the shoe community and culture and love the art and love the fashion of it. For me, I'm personally not interested. And with NFTs, it's pretty similar. You know, there may be people who think, why the hell would you buy that? And there's other people who are like, this is everything in my community. You know?
Okay, interesting. So there's like a kind of, I guess, like, NFT community in that way.
Yeah,
interesting.
Man, the community's strong. Like, it's crazy.
So the other thing I have to ask you is, like, in terms of money wise, right? Like, all I've heard is about NFTs, like selling for huge, like, amounts of money, right? And that's great in terms of people selling these things and making money. But my thing is, like, if I want to buy an NFT, do I have to spend 20 grand a pop? Like, so, can I just, you know, like, because Jordans, it's like, yeah, they're expensive, but I can, you know, I can get 100 quid fairly easily, like, in a, you know what I mean? It's like,
yeah,
it's a small percentage of, like, let's say, like, what I would charge for like a week's job or whatever. So if I do a job for 2 or 3 days by myself, maybe 1 or 2 pairs of Jordans if I feel like it, you know? And it's like, so yeah, if that's what I want to spend my money on, I could. And that's something that I choose to, like, include. Like, me buying clothes is like you said, like, as a hobby, as a part of the community that I like to indulge in. It's something that makes me feel good. But it's also a certain percentage of my life. Yeah. If it was, you know, even like with people that resell sneakers, right? I love fashion, I love streetwear, and I love shoes a lot, and I love the whole culture of it. I don't buy anything above, like, I don't even know that I've spent 150 quid on shoes. So I wouldn't buy like a 500 pound pair of Jordans or something.
Good, thank God.
Because, but you know, I know people do, but it's like, it's too high of a percentage of my income.
Yes,
to warrant, even if we take my hourly rate, I don't get people that work like a 9 to 5, like, let's say they work in Foot Locker or whatever, and you're earning £10 an hour, you're buying 300 pound Jordans. I don't get it, but that's me. My hourly rate is significantly higher than that. However, I still don't want to spend it on 500 pound pair of trainers. No. But so that stops me from caring, like, getting that much into the community, right? Like, I'm in my level. I stay in my lane.
Right.
It's like, I don't go into the, you know, the off-white things when they're releasing stuff because I can't afford to. So with NFT, is that something that would be a barrier? Like, someone that's like, I just want to spend, you know, 50 quid on an NFT or this type of thing.
So this is the very interesting thing. And this is why I keep saying, not just to people who are interested to get in, but also to people in the NFT community.
Yeah.
NFTs are not investments.
Right.
And I know a lot of people this year are focused on the ROI and the investment aspects, because there is a lot of investment opportunities, and there are a lot of people making disgusting returns. Like, oh my God. Like,
but in the same way that the art community has that aspect. So, like, rich people will buy and sell art as a way to, like, keep their money.
Yes. I'm not too informed, but maybe.
Like, because I think the thing is, like, again, I'm not too informed either, but, like, whereas from what I know, it's like,
but wait, let me
go.
Like, because this will make it easier.
Okay,
like, I keep saying this, NFTs aren't investments.
Right.
They are non-fungible tokens.
Okay.
And like I said, there are many people in the space who buy NFTs for the sake of flipping and for the intention of flipping. But that is not the purpose of an NFT.
Right.
The purpose
Because
of
that's what I think I thought.
yeah, because that's because
a weird sentence.
every time you see something, anything NFT related, it's like this NFT sold for millions. Blah, blah, blah. That's the kind of thing you're getting. But it's so much more than that. For me, NFTs are, if you like a piece of art and you can afford it and you want to own it in the digital space and you don't care if you're going to be able to sell it later, buy it. Cool. That's great. If you see, a potential, if you want to put your money in a project that you see has huge potential and you see could give you some decent returns and make your life a bit better later on, and you can afford it, key thing, you can afford it and you can afford to lose it, great, go for it. If you see this NFT project that provides a utility that you think is super dope and you just want to do it for the utility and you don't care, then cool, like go for it, Now, I'll give you an example. I bought a picture of a monkey. This is called Bored Ape Yacht Club. Now, I bought this NFT. This project is called Bay C, right? I bought this in May for $1,200.
Okay.
Now, I didn't buy it for an investment. I bought it because a lot of my friends in the community were rocking these apes as their profile picture. And I messaged a friend in the space and I said, why does everyone have profile pictures of these apes? And he said, oh, we're just like building a community. It's just a bunch of us. Like, it's pretty cool. And I was like, okay, whatever. I'll get one as well. Whatever. I want to be a part of this too. Like, whatever. And so I got one. And the cheapest one on the market right now, because right now it's only secondary sale. Tonight, the amount of money I could sell my ape for, it is so much that I can't even say. I shouldn't even, I said it in my video, so I guess
Go on, let us know.
You want to know?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, shit.
If you said it in the video, people are going to watch.
My dad told me I should stop saying it. But, you could check. It's all open. Okay.
You give us a ballpark. It doesn't have to be exact.
Mate, it's nuts. So I could probably, if I put it on sale right now, by the end of this podcast, I could probably, I don't know. Shit, man, I don't know. I said, I could probably sell it for $200K.
Jesus Christ.
That's what I'm saying.
That's a lot.
It's stupid, isn't it? Now, the thing is, I need that money.
Yeah.
I could do with 200K.
Yeah.
That's mad. From where I came from, and after what I've been through this past year and a half, that would do me nice. And with my goals, you already know. But why am I not selling? Because this sounds crazy, but I believe that it will. First, I believe what I own is a part of NFT history.
Okay.
And I believe it's equivalent to owning one of the first. If someone owns one of the first physical pieces of art that a human has created, don't you think every museum in the world would be trying to get their hands on that?
Yeah.
And with the NFT space, it's similar. If you have what's called a blue chip, if you have one of those,
is blue chip one of the early things that were created?
A blue chip is considered to be like a holy grail, you know. And if you have one of these historical NFTs, such as Bored Ape Yacht Club or something called CryptoPunks, then can you imagine what's going to happen when half the world is in NFTs?
Why are they called blue chips?
I think it's something to do with.
Is it like a certificate kind of?
I think it's something to do with. Is it in poker or is it in the casino? I think it's something to do with in that realm. I think it translates. I think so anyway. That's a good question. It's like this is a blue chip and it's tied to.
So blue chip is more about how much it's worth rather than
it's like another way of saying like a holy grail in the space. Now, I believe it will be worth more later.
You'd be pissed to know you sold a Van Gogh 3 years after he died.
Yeah, but it's not just that. It's another example. I just came back from New York.
Yeah.
And what I was doing in New York was I was invited to speak at the biggest NFT conference in the world about dance NFTs. So I did my speech. And at the same time, there was Bay C, the project. they did a festival called Ape Fest, and they did multiple events on that week, and I went to 2 of them. One of them was an exclusive yacht party of just ape holders, so you could only go to this party if you had an ape. And another one was a warehouse party where you could only go if you had an ape. And I went to both, and insane. Like the warehouse party.
Like how many people are we talking that own these things?
Well, there's 10,000 limited edition ones.
Okay, so there's only 10,000.
Yeah, there's only 10,000, but I think we have 5,000 holders. And you know, how many people were in New York? Maybe 1,000 to 2,000. So like that. At the warehouse party, we had, they hired artists. They hired Lil Baby performed for us. Chris Rock presented.
God.
I think it's called the Stokes or the Stones. The Stokes. I think they had like some really dope American bands, which I'm not familiar with, but they were super dope. And it was insane. And this is, oh my God, like, this is the crazy thing. The apes, you get commercial rights. You have the rights to your ape if you owns it. You have the IP rights to your apes, to your ape if you own it. So imagine Nike did 10,000 Nike ticks, and if you buy one of these Nike ticks, you can use that Nike tick for anything. I could make a clothing brand and use that Nike tick. And these apes, Timberland has an ape, Jimmy Fallon has an ape, like all these huge celebrities now have these apes. And we are starting to get basketball players like in the NBA starting to wear their apes on their shoes. We're starting to get people utilizing their apes, creating brands using their ape, because that brand is getting so big now and worldly recognized. And we now, everyone who owns an ape owns a piece of the brand, owns a part of the brand. We are the brand. Decentralized. Like, do you understand how crazy this is?
That's mad.
Imagine, the example I gave with Nike is pretty spot on.
But it's also why maybe Nike would never make the Nike ticket.
Centralization.
Yeah.
But
because they want to centralize.
But this is completely different. And at any given time, I can sell my ape. It's mine, and Basie have no control over that. Basie, and this is the great thing. Basie sold 10,000 apes.
They created.
They created apes, NFTs, and they sold 10,000 to the public, and they were each $100 to $300 at the start. And they raised around $1 to $2 million in sales, primary sales, which is, of course, amazing, right? But you know how much they've made since then? Almost $90 million.
But how do they make money? Because if sorry.
You might be thinking, where's the 90 million coming from? Every time an ape sells, I think it's like 2.5 to 5%. A percentage goes to Basie. So right now, someone's selling it for someone just sold for 150K. Yeah. You divide that, you take 4% of that, and it goes to Basie. Okay. And they're just sitting like this.
So they don't own the IP anymore because you own the IP
of each individual ape. Yes.
But they still get a percentage.
Yes.
Of every sale. But then if you sell yours, and then that person sells theirs, do you get a percentage, or it just goes straight back to the source?
No, it goes to them because I didn't mint it. It's not.
But your ones, like your dance videos, you could get a percentage of that every time it gets sold.
Yes.
Okay.
So I didn't explain this before, but to my knowledge, and I still haven't found anyone earlier than me, I am the first, like numero uno,
of putting what?
A dance NFT.
Okay,
like the first, like there is you can see the mint date. Yeah. My mint date was end of March, and back then there was like.
Just quick question on that. When you say the first to put a dance NFT, is the NFT the video or the actual dancing?
The video.
Okay, so it's the video of the dancing, not the routine. Let's say, or something, because it has to be a digital.
But this is what I'm saying. The possibilities are endless. Let's say I make a dance routine of choreography. And I make it with 3 people. Yeah. And I say in the description, anyone who owns this NFT also owns the rights to this choreography. Yes. That's possible. Okay. That's possible to do.
And then they could use that choreography for whatever they want.
I couldn't say squat.
But then the payment would be worth it in the first place. For
maybe. Yeah. But that I am the first, and it's not a competition. Yeah. But like I'm just for this example. that Genesis dance video, I sold for, I think it was like £200 to £300, which at the time for me was like, oh my gosh, what the hell? That's amazing. And
do you know who the person is that bought it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was just me doing an alpha. There was no music. One day, I wouldn't be surprised if that dance NFT sells for millions. Now, the reason why is because dance is going to take over the NFT space, the same way we took over TikTok and virtually every other social media platform. And so maybe in the future, we're going to have dance NFT enthusiasts that collect dance NFTs. I am going to be collecting dance NFTs once we get more dance NFTs in the space. But they're going to want to own the first one because it's owning a part of history. The same way why CryptoPunks and Basees are selling so much right now is because they were minted during a time where it was just different and their history, you know? And so, I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe they will never resell. That's okay. But from what I know in the space, it's possible. And if that does, 10% goes to me.
Yeah. It's
Royalties,
interesting because it's like
ownership over your art.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting because it's like, in a way, I'm comparing it a lot in my head to like fashion or sneakers or whatever, where it's like, there are certain items that are more sought after because of the history of them or because of when they were made,
the brand, the demand, that kind of stuff,
the time or whatever. And there's also trainers that go for like 10 grand or, you know,
and this is actually a perfect example because you get 2 t-shirts, right? But the minute it has like a Bape, like the minute it has a Bape logo, the price for some reason multiplies by 100, but the material is the same. And with NFTs is similar, you know, at the end of the day, it is just a picture of a monkey. It is just an NFT of a monkey, but it's what that picture represents. And it's what that,
so even if I like took a screenshot or something and like copied the picture, it's like your one has the, in air quotes, like the Bape logo on it kind of thing. So it's like you're saying that's the one that has the logo.
You can print screen it all you want, but at the end of the day, you're not going to be able to do anything with it because I can verify if you print screen it and you mint it as an NFT. First of all, you wouldn't be able to mint it to the official Basie collection
because they know how many there
because it's verified. First of all, there's 10,000, and in the contract, in the smart contract, which is the code for the project, it's ingrained in the code that there's 10,000 and no more can be added.
And each one has like an individual code, so they know if this one doesn't have, or if it's a duplicate of another
so
code.
If, let's say you take a picture of my ape, which is which has a halo, and you put it as an NFT, first of all, the collection is not going to be verified. Second of all, I can go to the verified collection and I can check that exact picture with the halo.
Oh, so they're all different.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. And I can see I can see the contract address.
Yeah.
And I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I go back to your one and it says 4, 3, 2, 1, 5. I'm like, that's not the one.
Yeah, right. You've added it.
So,
yeah. And I think, you know, even like they do this with like art where let's say like a photographer, like I'll take a picture and I will say that I'm only doing 50 prints. I haven't done this yet, but like photographers do it. Like I'm only doing 50 prints of this picture, limited, right? Yeah. And on each one, I'll write a certificate of authenticity, or even on the actual thing, 1 of 50, 2 of 50, 3 of 50. So then if you like copy it or whatever, I'm like, okay, we'll turn it over. And it's like, there's no thing, well, where's your certificate of authenticity? It's not one of the 50 that I sold.
But what if they can screen copy? What if they can print screen the...
Right, so this is the flaw, is like you wouldn't know if you could copy both, or you could also copy the certificate of authenticity or whatever, or like even the signature, you could copy it. Then it's like, well, we have 2 number 3s.
Yeah.
And we can't really tell where you're saying with NFTs, there's a...
Impossible.
There's like a flawless way to tell which was the original.
Absolutely. Like, absolutely. Of course, scams still do happen because people don't know. People learn, and scammers gonna scan.
Yeah.
But But to check the original one is very easy if you know how to.
Okay, interesting.
And it's, man, the technology, like, still to this day, and I've been in this literally 24/7 since February.
Yeah.
Still to this day, I'm blown away every day. I can't believe in 3 months I get to say I've been here for a year doing this. And in the NFT space, 1 month equals 1 year. The space moves so fast. Things are changing I've never seen anything evolve so fast like this.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Maybe because I'm seeing it from when I was in the NFT space, when I started to get in, apparently there were less than 10,000 of us collectors.
Right.
Someone said, "Oh, there's less than 10,000." Like
Is there like a social media like network where you can talk with people?
We're all on Twitter.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
so
we're
like
all vibing on Twitter. Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
I wonder if that will ever be a thing. If there's like
There will.
It comes with a social media platform.
There will. There has to be, because right now, social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, they own your data, and you know it's so centralized, and you are the product. You know?
Yeah.
And
interesting.
Decentralization is going to change everything.
I assume this is where the talk of like the studio and stuff was born from, or like the financial side is through the NFT realm that you're going to channel back into dance, or not so much?
Yeah, but this one. Wait 1 second. When is this episode getting released?
28th. Yeah. So Sunday.
Okay.
Too early?
No. It's okay. I think. Okay, this is fine. I'm working on multiple NFT projects that are besides my dance NFTs that I'm doing. That are not only gonna fund my studio, but hopefully beyond and more.
Sick.
For a decent amount of time. If I execute it the way I want to and the way I think it could play out, it could be a big one. It could be
sick.
Like I'm talking like not even game changer, like creating
game ender.
Game, like creating a new game.
Yeah.
Like sick. I don't if I know you don't know me like super well, but those that know me well will know that I'm someone who prefers to do the work and kind of like keep my head down and let my result do the talking and let my work do the talking. I don't talk a lot. I just kind of
do the shit.
I like to like do.
Yeah, I hear that.
But if I execute my vision the way I think I really can, then yeah, I think this is the start of revolutionizing the entire dance industry across the world.
Sick.
Like I truly do believe that I see something.
yeah. No, bro, and that's the fucking people who change the world, isn't it? Like the people who I guess believe they can and go down a path that no one's gone down before.
That's it.
So yeah, definitely believe in you.
Thank you,
You
man.
heard it here first. We didn't hear it here first. A lot of people believe in Dylan. You heard it from me here first.
Yeah, and
I believe in Dylan.
Actually, one thing I want to say when you just said like a lot of people believe in Dylan, like I've always had so much love and support from my community.
Yeah.
Even though like I started to teach and travel around the world when I was 18.
Yeah.
And I wasn't as experienced as I am now back then. And, you know, maybe people could have been a bit salty about it. Maybe people could have been a bit jealous because the way I went from how I was when I was like 15, 16 to 18, the growth that I experienced then, and then to then leave and travel and stuff, you know, maybe people could have been salty or jealous, but I never felt that at all from my peers and teachers. And they always supported me and they always, you know, had my back, even when I would be gone for months at a time and, you know, doing my thing. And that's what also encouraged me to give back as well. And from very early on, I realized, you know, actually, like I would love to build stuff here. And since my first event that I organized here was when I was 19, I think. And then since then, it's just been about Honestly, yeah, it's just been about that. And then when I started to do my training program in 2018, everything has been for that. All the teaching and traveling around the world that I've done has been to fund that. And it's been, yeah. And oh, man, there's been so many things that I've failed at. And I say fail because success is,
Yeah, it's not linear, straightforward.
It depends, there's so many things that I've failed at that people have no idea that I worked so hard to do. For example, I really wanted to set up kids classes in London. I wanted to give people the same opportunity that I had with Zoo Nation. And I cycled. I found a venue in Battersea, I believe, and I cycled at all the neighboring primary schools in that area, and I gave them a leaflet and I said, hey, I want to set up dance classes for kids around this area. It would be amazing. Can I perform at your assembly for free?
Yeah.
Like, I was a finalist on Britain's Got Talent. Like, trying to convince. And I spent weeks doing this, and I went through the trenches to do these kids classes, and we had one or two kids every week. And, I visited multiple different schools because I want kids in South London in particular, because that's where I'm from. I want South London kids to have the same opportunity that I had, because I feel like if I didn't have the opportunities that I had growing up, I feel like my life would be very different.
Yeah.
And I honestly I truly believe, like, if me and Boris Johnson were talking face to face, I'd be like, Boris, you muppet. Look, it's actually like a lot more simple. You don't need to put more police on the street. You don't need to put more. You just need to freaking provide more opportunity for kids in these bad areas. Provide more opportunities, provide more education, provide more awareness, provide a better quality of life, and then maybe you might stop seeing kids stab each other over postcodes and bikes. This is something I really want to tackle, like, at one point in my life as well. I'm really passionate about that too, because it hits really close to my heart and home. But dance and performing arts, I'm not going to say save my life, because I wasn't in that life, but I genuinely think in the
Changed
area,
your life at least.
Yeah, I genuinely think in the area that I grew up in and how I was as a kid, I had a lot of anger growing up as a kid. My siblings will tell you that for sure. I genuinely think that I could have gone down the wrong path very easily.
Yeah.
Had it not been for, performing arts. Yeah.
And I'll be the one to say that we're all very glad you did.
Yeah.
It sounds dope. I love hearing people who are passionate and excited about what they want to do, especially if that thing is going to benefit me at some point.
Yeah. Hey,
Do you know what I mean?
I think I truly think we can all win. And the beautiful thing about NFTs and Web3 and dance NFTs, let's say about dance NFT, is if I win, you win, and vice versa. Because if I sell a dance piece for, let's say, £10,000, then that means I've just proved people in the space are willing to pay that much for a dance video. To own a dance video, and it opens up doors for other dancers. And then let's say another dancer sells a dance video for 100,000. I'm not gonna think, oh bloody hell, like he sold for more than me. I'm like, yo, that
means
so
I
sick.
can sell
Like
for 200.
that's me too. Like that's and that's the way I see it. Anyway, we can all win, and I'm very aware of my greed and the community's greed and inclusivity of people, and uplifting and bringing people up and supporting other artists.
Sick. I think that's dope, man. But I could talk to you about this stuff for hours, I think, to be honest. And there's probably a billion other more conversations that we could get into. You're always welcome to come back.
I think I will.
We've got part 2 coming along the way.
When all of this that we spoke about today happens.
Oh, bro, if you become a millionaire and you don't come back on the podcast, I'm going to be very offended.
I will buy the podcast. No, I'm joking. I'm joking, but
bro,
hey,
if it's for millions, you can have it.
Bro, I had no plans to say this, but if I do become wealthy, which in my mind it's quite likely because I'm smart.
Yeah, you're on the
if
right
I
path.
do, I want to. It's not invest is not the right word, but I want to, you know, fund projects that I believe are good for my community, and I definitely see this as one of them. So
Thanks, man.
trust me, I'm watching closely, and
I'm like
I want
keeping
to.
my fingers crossed.
No, I want to, man,
Yeah.
for sure. Because
No, I appreciate that,
like I said it on my story on Instagram, and we spoke already personally.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to do this.
Yeah,
You don't owe anyone shit. You've swore. I can swear too.
Yeah.
You don't owe anyone squat. And this stuff is hard work. People have no idea.
Thanks.
We didn't speak about this, but let me tell you what I did during the lockdown.
Yeah.
So I'm the kind of person where if I'm facing a situation, I'm like, okay, this is my situation. What can I do about it? What can I do? And I will do everything in my power to work hard and do something about it. So the pandemic happened. I'm home. Financial situation absolutely bad. Crazy debt because of the pandemic, and I had to cancel my program last year.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started doing online tutorials. I realized, hey, I have an audience online. That could be a good opportunity. I filmed over 100 tutorials by myself, edited, filmed, organized. And I don't even think I made more than £1,000 in 1 year of making over 100 tutorials. And I'm like, these tutorials are good. I made courses about like these techniques that I think you know, my journey as a dancer. I've got other teachers involved too. And I know it's hard work, you know, managing this. So
man.
I hope you at home understand this and continue to support.
Oh, thank you.
Because this is, as I was saying before, we need more unity in the space, and this is something that will bring more people together. And oh my gosh, when I was looking at the posts, like I just want to throw money at you right now, man, because like when I was looking at, hey, like this UK dancer's doing this, and this UK dancer just won this, and we now have an Instagram page where we can keep up with everyone and support and see the dope things that everyone is doing and celebrate us. Because I'll say this, and I'm not being biased when I say this, but I believe London is one of the strongest dance communities in the world. I've seen a lot of different dance communities, and there's so many different reasons why I think and feel that way. The rawness of the city, growing up in a city like London, just gives you something. There's so much culture here. There's so much diversity.
It's very unique as well.
It's so unique. We're getting culture from a lot of me and my friends are first generation London, and so the culture we have is directly from our countries, and we're just a huge melting pot, and that goes into our dancing. And you know, the experiences we experience in this city with the hardships, that also goes into our dancing too. And you know, I love my community so much. I really do, and I think about it a lot. And I want to make sure that, you know, we are able to live comfortably. We deserve it. We deserve to be millionaires. I know it sounds crazy to say, but we work really hard. We don't have to be millionaires, but we deserve to
at very least get paid for what we do.
We deserve to at least be able to comfortably afford our own place, maybe, or maybe move out of our parents' houses, you know, and not have to. I've been thinking.
I hear you, bro. I'm excited to see where it goes, man. Like, for real. All of this stuff sounds dope, and I think it's gonna be sick to see where you go with it. Like, I think you're also someone who's like clearly knows what they're doing, because it's like you've built your career, and then you've built the training program, you've done your events, and it's like, I know that these things are not easy either to do, you know, and gosh, especially to have a successful career at a young age. Like, you know, you started when you said like when you were like 18 to start traveling around the world and stuff. There's people that don't, and that's not just like an accident. Like, you don't in dance, you don't just get big and go viral or whatever, and then you
Well,
just get
sometimes.
hired. Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah,
even
I know
with
what you mean.
Tobias, it's like he was saying
Yeah.
about how his thing went viral kind of by accident, but he still had to put in a shitload of
Oh my
work to
God, he's
make it to reap the benefits of that. Do you know what I mean? And it's like
absolutely.
that's going off something that was huge viral, whereas you kind of didn't have as much maybe viral stuff, but you were like still building little investments and little benefits, and
Yeah.
building a career is not something to just be like, oh yeah, well Dylan's just good, that's why it's like there's a lot of people who are good, not everyone has a successful career.
Yeah,
So
yeah. There's a
yeah,
lot to it. There's a lot to
yeah,
it. You can work hard and you can be really good, but you have to work smart as well. And
100%.
I think that's where did really well in. I think I'm able to observe and analyze things differently,
Yeah.
and I'm able to. This is the way I see it. Through gaming, I know this sounds crazy, but I think I'm able to process things, and I think my brain works very fast. And so if an average person takes 1 year to do something or to like come to a conclusion of or plan something, it might take me a month.
Yeah, because you're gonna figure it out quicker.
Yeah, I don't know. Like it's just like beam, beam, beam.
Problem solving skills. Yeah, yeah. I
But
hear you.
yeah, it's been my life has been amazing. It's been up and down. One thing that we didn't speak, about was my journey with mental health. That's been a huge part of my journey as well, as an artist as well. 4 years ago, I got injured and I had to have surgery on my shoulder. And at the same time, I was also going through like crippling depression and anxiety and uncontrollable panic attacks. And at one point that year, just to say this because I think it's important. At one point that year, I eventually, I actually planned my suicide. And I say it so casually because I think it should be normalized. Like talking about it should be normalized because I know a lot of people, I know for a fact a lot of people watching this have felt the same way, that life can be really overwhelming. I realize it's not life that's overwhelming, it's it's human. Being human can be really overwhelming, how you react to things. And that year I actually quit dance. I sat my parents down and I told them I don't want to dance anymore. I'm never going back. And I genuinely thought I would never go back. And today I'm more motivated and inspired than ever. So, I just wanted people to know that, that it hasn't been easy. I know you might look at my Instagram and I know I make it look easier than it is, but I promise you I work hard.
Yeah. I think I don't know, maybe it's my experience or whatever, but I think the things that you've done don't come without work. And I think that's the true of a lot of people. Even if we go to this thing that people make fun of, like with TikTok influencers or anything like that, it's like, it still takes fucking work, man.
It
like
does.
anything really like sustainable and successful took work at some point. There's very few people that are just fucking around in front of a camera and get a career out of it. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, thanks for sharing that, man. And I'm sorry to hear that. And
it's okay.
But I'm happy to hear
it's totally okay.
through it.
The crazy thing is that was the worst time of my life. But if someone told me, would you go back and change it? I would say no in a heartbeat because it made me who I am today. And because of what happened that year, I was forced to make the necessary changes to become the person I am today. And I feel like the person I am today is going to be able to provide for the community and is going to be able to make the change that is going to be required to make actual change the way we want it to. So I wouldn't change it for the world. I learned so much and I made some really important changes that year that I still keep now and let go of some really toxic habits that that was the beginning of like this journey of, I don't know, like higher self and just opening up my mind and ego and
sick. That's dope, man.
Yeah.
I think we have to start wrapping.
I don't
up.
even know what time it is.
8:35. we did quite a while.
Wait, like an hour and a half?
No, like almost 2 probably.
No.
At
Wait.
least we started like before 6:30. No, we didn't. Yeah,
No,
so
we
it's
were like-
almost
like
2 hours now. 'Cause it
Seven,
was like
seven. We probably started around
6:45.
Yeah, 7. We're like,
Yeah,
imagine
no one
we
cares.
spend like the next 20 minutes figuring out.
Yeah. How long has it been?
Okay, yeah. I feel like we covered.
Oh, about an hour and 50 we've done.
Okay, that's good.
But
that's
yeah,
good, that's good.
also because of when we've got to get out of here.
That's good.
But
Yeah.
yeah, no, thank you so much for
Of course.
everything you shared, man. From the highs to the lows.
Yeah.
And thank you for coming. I super appreciate your time as with all the
Absolutely.
guests. Like I've said this a fucking million times, but it's a massive compliment that anyone wants to come and spend their time doing this. So thank you so much. And
It's important.
yeah, if you are listening or watching and you are interested in the NFT stuff, head over to Dylan's YouTube channel. How can they find you? Just your name on YouTube?
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. If you're not sure how to spell his name, it's on the title of this video.
Yeah. And I have 2 YouTube channels. I have Dylan Mayoral and Dylan Mayoral NFT. It's actually on my Dylan Mayoral one because that's where all my dance content is. And I wanted dancers to check that out.
Cool.
Yeah.
So check those out if you're interested and want to know more, because he has a 45-minute video where he goes into more detail that he's just put out. I think there's other content coming, right? And things.
Yes. So
keep an eye
that
on.
video explains actually the technology and goes into depth how the technology works, which is important to know.
Cool. Yeah. Sick. And obviously, if you want to go and check out some dope dance content, he's your man. And yeah, I think we'll wrap up there. Check out we're talking about the Capsule Instagram at thecapsule.ldn if you don't already know about it. Subscribe on YouTube, please. I'm trying to say this every week. Probably shouldn't wait till the end to say it because I'm guaranteed not everyone listens all the way to the end, but it's all good. I'm at my first milestone. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. I'm quite the way off, but
How many subscribers do you have now?
like 350 or something like
That's
that.
amazing, man.
360.
That's
Yeah,
solid.
it's not bad, but it's like
amazing.
my main thing is not even for me. It's like because when I get to 1,000 on YouTube, I can live stream on YouTube from my mobile, and I want to do more of that at events because I live stream on Insta, but I think people don't want to watch so much on Insta because you can't be on Insta while you're watching a live. You can only just watch the live, and eventually you're like, all right, but I want to scroll, I want to message people. Whereas if I can do it on YouTube, you can have your laptop or whatever and play the live stream and do whatever on your phone. It kind of takes up your whole phone. You can't even close it down to go on WhatsApp or anything or emails. So if I can get to 1,000, I can start live streaming stuff through YouTube, which will be a big help. And also more people checking out the content. So subscribe on YouTube, check out the Insta. Fingers crossed, I'm going to get another podcast in before the end of the year because I did want to hit 50 before the end of the year. We're supposed to, and then someone cancelled, which is fine because it was for a legit reason. But yeah, I've got some others floating in the air that might happen before the end of the year. But yeah, just a little pride thing of hitting 50 by the end of the year would have been nice.
That's dope. Congrats, man.
Thanks. And yeah, check out the Capsule every Tuesday, which is just me talking about stuff that happened. Last week's, this will come out on Sunday. Yeah, the one that came out last week is I talked about Botis's Black Dog. I don't know if you've seen it.
I haven't. Did you go watch it?
Oh yeah, I went and watched it. It's sold out Saddlers 2 nights in a row.
Is it still on?
Yes, but they're touring now. So I think they're going to Manchester and then I don't know where else.
How was it?
It was good. I liked it. I did a fucking hour on it and the review,
wow.
but
Oh my gosh.
like in my
That's
my thoughts like choreographically and stuff.
Far
But
from no, man.
yeah, it's an enjoyable show, man. And
They are
and
mad.
big,
I love them.
Big love to Botis because he's doing amazing things, man.
They're sick, man.
Again, like I love seeing successful people.
Yeah, man.
Anyway, I'll let you guys go. And I'll let you go.
See ya.
Yeah, see you guys and catch you next week. And thank you once more, Dylan. And
Thank you for having me.
Bye.
See you next time. Bye.